Right now, President Biden is revealing when he will address the nation on his presidential exit. Here's a quote from a post that he put out. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will address the nation from the Oval Office on what lies ahead and how I will finish the job for the American people. The last time we saw President Biden, he struggled to get down the small steps of Air Force One. That was right after he was diagnosed with COVID, as reported. Mere days before he left the campaign, he ended it. Tudor, I start with you and your thoughts.
Well, as I look at this, as I look at what's happening, I think that the American people should be appalled that he broke up with them, like essentially over text, right? You got a tweet that said, "I'm done, I'm leaving." And this is meaningful to all Americans. It's very meaningful to Democrats, but it's meaningful to all Americans, because if he can walk away from his campaign like this, then who is leading the country? And I really feel like this is a September 10th moment, where we are just so vulnerable and we're not paying attention to how significant this is.
Emily, to that point, what do you think our enemies see right now?
Gosh, I think that for quite some time, they have seen a failure of a leader that has refused to lead by strength. I think they've seen one that has capitulated to the whims of the far left, that has tried to buy votes, that they have seen been sort of trampled on the global stage, been bullied by China, who so brazenly flew the balloon over the United States, hamstringing our allies, abandoning our allies in Afghanistan and Ukraine and Israel and the like. So I think for quite some time, they've seen someone that doesn't look like the leader of America should. And I think at this moment, they are seeing a coup that has emerged. They are seeing an absolutely fractured Democratic Party. And I think they're seeing some puppeteers at the helm that are refusing to step aside and that are truly sort of holding the power, maintaining the power, revealing who the true orchestration is. I hope, however, that they'll see in November a real leader that takes the helm and takes the stage, and that leader actually serves the people, because that is why I think the global leaders don't recognize America right now.
A quick follow-up with you, because I wrote this down. It gave me chills. Puppeteers at the helm. Look how close we are to the election. We're, 27 days away from, the DNC convention. And just a few days after that, early voting in many states. Some states. Enough to count, right? And then about 105 or so until Election Day. When you say puppeteers, is it too late in the process for the American people to separate what's happening right now, that coup, the lying that's gone on to the public about his condition, separate that from what they need to know to make a right choice on Election Day?
I can't imagine being a Democrat right now and feeling exactly that, Harris, feeling that wrested from me was the decision of who to put and who to run for office, first and foremost. Secondly, yes, the sort of realization that there's been a machine in place that is orchestrated and covered up and denied very, again, brazenly, this person who was in office. And then I would think to myself, so now you are revealing it over text? And you're telling me that what I've been seeing this entire time, my vote wasn't good enough, my feelings didn't matter, what's happening to me at the kitchen table and in the bank isn't enough, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm also being told, however, democracy is at stake. I would say, yes, it is. And you've shown me who put it at stake. It's not the GOP.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's an anointing right now of Kamala Harris. I mean, we're looking at it. And I've taken some heat for what I said last hour, Paul, but for a different reason. Ben Domenech made the same point. Be careful what you wish for with Kamala Harris. First of all, we've got two wars. We have a lot going on. If they 25th Amendment him, you get her. And for all the reasons that Emily just mentioned, I don't know her. I think, who said that? Mariah Carey? About somebody else? I feel like Mariah right now. I don't know her. Yeah. And so there's that, but there's also 9/10 of the law is possession, right? And so if she's in the position of president, what are your thoughts on that?
First of all, the entire nation of America was catfished, okay, for whatever it's been. We don't really know at what point it really fell off the cliff. But, I go back to something. We talked about it on the show. I mean, you'll remember this. We talked about the fact that Lloyd Austin went MIA for 10 days. And we said he felt free to do that because he knew his overhead wasn't looking for him. And that's what happens when you don't have a boss, right? When a boss is away, the employees play. So, and Austin actually did the honorable thing. He's a soldier. At the end of the day, he comes out, he took the blame himself. He was used to the fact that his emails weren't answered, his phone calls weren't returned. Nobody's looking for me. I'm going to go have this piece of surgery. So it's been at least since then, and likely going back to when he ran debasement campaign. Tomorrow, the president's going to come out. He's not going to take any questions. And I'm going to tell you this. He is going to hang on. And this is another thing we've talked about here. He's going to hang on at least till 6 November. Why? Because he's got to get those pardons in. And he can't count on whoever's coming in, unless they cut that deal, and boy, he's got it ironclad. He's got to stay in. Remember, he's still the president till 20 January.
Right.
He's going to have that lame duck
6
era
months.
right there to say, okay, what do you want me to sign? Out of jail, out of jail, out of jail. That's how it's going to go.
Wow. Now, none of that puts the American people in the forefront.
No, we're in the back seat. We're in the trunk. You know,
Never been in the forefront.
we're chasing the car.
I mean, I guess I was hopeful, right? I mean, somebody's got to care what the people are feeling. If Kamala wants to run for office, the higher office, I was kind of hopeful.
Yeah, I mean,
what you were saying.
maybe at
But I'm
the
not
DNC,
delusional. I know who she is to some degree. I mean,
it's locked in.
we don't know what she'll do except for this. Ben Domenech brought up a good point last hour. She is really far left with her track record.
No. I mean, she was a California attorney general. I mean, this is, she's very progressive, and she is to the left. That's why her vice presidential pick will be interesting if she's going to try and go a little more moderate there. But I want to pick up on a couple of things. First, the world stage, okay, and what we have right now, which is currently President Joe Biden. If you look at the Wall Street Journal's incredible reporting about what's been going on at the White House since 2021, October, to be specific, when Nancy Pelosi had to clean up comments from the president when he walked out of the room on the infrastructure bill. That was number one. Number two, foreign officials that they interviewed said that they were at the G7, when they were physically at the G7, we're talking the spring of 2022, guys, that he seemed like he was losing his thoughts. He was confused. That cover-up, I think, is a very big story, and I'm calling it a cover-up. Because at this point, we don't know how long that they have been puppeteering him, I think was your other thing. But the other issue I do want to say here really quick is that if it is going to be Joe Biden for the next 6 months and you're China, and Bill Ackman just pointed this out on X, well, guess it's time to invade Taiwan. Let's just do it now because there's weakness.
Real quickly, because your focus at Fox Business obviously is money. Bill Ackman, Elon Musk reports that he would put in $45 million for Trump's campaign every month if it were needed. What do you make of those dollars up against what we saw? And Emily's right. It's a Democratic machine, and it operates on a few fronts, fundraising being one of them.
Well, $81 million, that's on top of the $240 million that was in the war chest under the Biden-Harris campaign. It's the committees, and this also goes down ballot. Remember, this isn't just about the top of the ticket. Financially, the reason that the Democrats panicked and Pelosi and Schumer went into full action, and I would also say the Obamas and the Clintons, was because they were going to lose the House and the Senate, and they knew it.
But they could still do that if she's atop the ticket.
But if the donors dry up, those down ballot candidates don't get the funding, and a lot of those committees push the money down.
And
it's
she
not
didn't
just
have
for
to be
her.
vetted, so she doesn't have any negatives right now. So she just gets the money. I mean, it's the perfect situation for them. No primary, nobody gets bloodied up. I believe that this was coordinated
Except for
from
Biden.
the beginning.
He's the only one that got bloodied up because the machine revealed its ugly head by saying
They're done with him.
they are done. Yeah, exactly. He was discarded. At the end of the day, the sitting president actually, he was forced out. To your question, who forced him out? Why? That should be full front and center for every Democrat voter right now, is seeing that the person they loved, the person that they felt, that they voted for.
Yeah, and gave money to. And that's, you're talking about all those donor dollars. They gave money predicated on it would be Biden. Maybe they wouldn't want to give her their money.
That's Dana Perino's point. She's calling it the lemon law. She's like, okay, we bought the bad car. We want to.
I get you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.